Video 2 of 3 on 11/17. This is ew. Edwards Life Sciences. Ew. Explain to me, what the hell is this? How can they make double the net of the sales? Something's going on in this P&L. You have support at 60, don't lose it. If you lose it, you're going to 40 or lower. Meanwhile, I dare you to break 80. So any pops are going to hit a wall of resistance. That's what this stock tells me on a daily basis. Let's zoom in and see if we can have some other alerts here. Okay, so trade this candle right there. I don't know what happened on that day, but that candle is death. 2 candles to trade. One, the earnings. So put a box around your earnings candle, and you got your... What the... Can you imagine being that guy? Oh my God. Okay, and this. And then this one here. So you can put another box around this guy. Right there. That's your playground number 1, playground number 2. So how do I trade this? At the lower edges of, let's change the color. At the lower edges of the white rectangle is support. At the upper edge is resistance. Just trade those two. Trade those two. Freeport. So just like aluminum, this is a copper story, I believe. I don't know if they mine gold as well. I'm pretty sure it's... Oh, molybdenum. Say that one fast. So they're a miner of things. I think they're known for copper. You remember the craze of the moly? Molybdenum? Okay, Moly Corp. That was a meme stock. From here to 39, a nice strong support zone. Look left. That white arrow, look how I put a marker on it. I drew it in hindsight, so I didn't like forecast it. I was just giving you the fact that this is a target from way up there that they've hit twice, and they're chasing again. This third time might be harder to get. Anything below 42 is good support, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them dip into it in case the market has another bad week. The problem is now going back to 47, I just don't see why it would cut through 47 or 49. The 49 candle is very, very tough. So I would not chase it inside this white box. Okay, and if for whatever reason you lose 39, we won't tell you the target, but I would exit in panic. Fabrinet? It just sounds made up. The Binford 5000. Okay, very choppy, very wide range. You're right in the middle of the range. You've got 210 and 270, support and resistance respectively. Fortinet, not to be confused with Fabrinet. Nice breakout from Fortinet. I have no input. Check back to 86, 85 to test the neckline. Look at the bottom line on this company. Yeah, you missed it. If you're trying to get long, you should follow Ragu. Fiverr broke out, trying to establish 26 as a base. We shall see. I would never hire them. I don't know how they're still in business. I don't know how AI hasn't hit them hard yet. When people figure out AI, this P&L is going to fall fast. People that hire Fiverr are probably not all AI savvy, I would assume, because I know 3 friends that have companies and they know nothing about computers, and they hire people off of Fiverr. The minute they figure out how to use AI, they will not hire people, because the things they hire people off of Fiverr for are just, you can do in 30 seconds with AI. Like, hey, make me a thumbnail that does this. Okay. Support 25 through 22. As an investment, if you're getting into it, into the support, solid. If you take out 33, you can get to 39. So it's not a bad investment idea. Solid P&L, solid base, tradable. Gold, people are rushing. We shorted silver. I shorted gold once, lost a little bit of money on it. Overall, gold has been very profitable for me this year. So the way I got my revenge on GLD is by shorting the SLV, and that was a good win, because we literally shorted the very top tick. look at my notes. You're falling into support and you're losing one support after another. And they have more downside. Technically, there's more downside to go. But you can read, you see the words that says huge pivot? I didn't do this week. I honestly don't remember when I did it. And look how they bounced off of it on a penny. Now, here's the problem. If you get to 233 next week, you're probably going to get to 230 and 227. They're selling rallies, is what I'm telling you. 245 was a massive loss, and it may bring up to $13. So that loss can bring you down to 232, which would fill that yellow box. Okay, but it's one after another. First, we started with this loss. Now this loss. Somewhere here, maybe this is another trigger. So they're selling rallies. Every rally is being sold. We'll see what happens. This support zone is no longer support. Now it is resistance zone. And I'll move it to the right and resituate it. Okay. And there are some resistance lines too, like 240. It's a tricky situation. People chased it into an all-time high. I kept my mouth shut, but I knew exactly that this was going to happen. I tried to convey the message. This is not the right ticker. Maybe it is. I'm going to stick with it. The last time I said, they said no, GOLD gold. So I'm going to speak to this one, not Barrick gold. Same statement on the GLD, everything. It's literally the same thing. So you lost the neckline. You're trying to find support inside of a neckline that's below us. So yeah, 25.20 or lower, decent support, better support into 24.40. HIMS has been Amazoned. But here's the BS about that. If you don't, okay, so I mentioned this threat to HIMS weeks ago. You can review my videos on it, and I've said that week, if not months ago, I honestly don't remember when, definitely weeks ago, I got solicited from Amazon to buy hair growth drugs online from them. I was like, oh, isn't that the bread and butter of HIMS? That and ED and all of those other. It's actually HIMS and hers, but you see what I mean? So I knew that Amazon was in the business already. So the headline that broke out last week, I guarantee you, has been manufactured and timed properly to make money for somebody out there with a lot of money that has connections in the media. This is an old story. Nevertheless, the stock was going to high heaven, and it brought it back, target 1 and target 2. Target 2 is 18. So if you wanted to get long HIMS, this is your opportunity. I don't think Amazon can kill it, although the threat is there. It's worth a shot. You sell a put, you can buy the dip. If it falls into 15, I think it'll make a tradable dip. I'll add it to see if I want to get involved with it. Honeywell, I wouldn't touch it here. Great company for me. If I'm looking to get long, I would want it to be below 215 for my taste in this environment. Solid company, global company. Anybody that bought it here doesn't know charts really well. Yes, it looked like a breakout, but the breakout is not on a poke. It's on a closing basis. So this next week, super important. Ask me about it next week to see what happened to it. Hershey's buyable, the dip, except for the fact that you lost 184, and that loss brings you a huge downside scenario. 20 is not that crazy, and I don't know how crazy is the crazy one. 50? So this stock might be in the 130s in a series of lower lows and lower highs. It does have support, but it's scattered. In fact, let me give you a number. If you lose 167.5 or 167, you're in deep shape, technically speaking. Humana, I'm out of the stock. I would never ever touch it again. That was my rule. I don't touch biotech and pharma. The closest I get is XLV and XBI. If you're invested in the stock, you're just going to have to live out your sentence. I wouldn't add to it. 300 is a problem. So if you got stuck in the credit put spread that I had, I know at least 3 people took the shares and you didn't exit. I have no words. The pop to 300 was your exit. Okay. If you rolled the credit put spread, the earnings got you out. And that's what I did. That's what I told people to do. Roll, and exit. So If you rolled it, you paid $50 because that's what I paid to roll. And except for me, I got assigned out of my position and I didn't bother reselling it. Somebody had that happen to them as well, and I said, resell it if you want to take a shot on the earnings. And if they did, they're out of trouble. So that's the scenario with it. Technically speaking, anything below 270, 260 should be solid support. But in this environment, I don't trust it. So it's a headline stock. Great recovery, by the way. We weren't crazy with placing the credit put spread where we did. The crazy is what happened. Okay. Really badly timed headline. HUT, I have no information on it. It's one of those stocks that looks like a breakout from 18, looks like it hit its target. You look left, you have resistance through 32. These peaks, I wouldn't want to be long up there. If you want to chase it, buy the dip into 20 or lower, that would be great. Up here, it could get to 32, but I don't know why you would do it now. Look at the P&L. What the yeah, do your homework, people. Intuit looks vulnerable to me. Looks like it could drift lower. You take out 775, you continue on wherever you were going. Oh, my Lord. Okay. Please tell me you didn't go long up here. So anybody that went long up here, send me an email. I'll change your life. I will change your life. So here's a person that's been stuck since 2021. Holding a stinky bag of poop. That's my weekend, by the way. We have a puppy in the house. This person comes along and is like, hey, looks like you're uncomfortable out there. Give me that bag. I'll take that bag because this time it's different. So this guy can't believe it. He throws the bag into that guy's hand and runs. So now this person is holding that same bag of poop. Good luck with that. There's a good chance that this one retraces. How deep they go, I don't know. Good company, though. I'm nothing against it. Iron Mountain. I don't know what they do. Okay, it looks like it's important for them not to lose 112. You lose 112, you're probably going to 100, which would be a good pivot, 101, 102. Even better pivot is 90. Make sure you know when the earnings are coming. Oh, they just reported. Okay, so there's nothing there. All right, more information. 119 is a problem. 117 to 120 is a problem. 121 is a problem. 124 is a problem. And you better hold the lows. You lose those lows, you're going to the low 100s. Like 108 is good. JD, everything I said about BABA applies here. A couple of you are going long JD. I don't remember if it was an earnings thing or just a buy the dip thing after the earnings. I wouldn't touch it. This chart is too wonky. I don't think they build the house above just air. Like this whole thing, the attic is built with no foundation. The breakout zone is 30. The P&L is not bad, but China is. China's economy is terrible. You should just do some homework on that. JP Morgan, I'm short and I'm losing some money. I haven't gotten out. My short has time on the clock. I'll reevaluate. This is not a place I would start longs, but it was a strong sector in a weak week, in a difficult week for the market. This one shined. And JP Morgan has been lagging other banks, and it's trying to do its thing. If it breaks out at 248, it probably goes to 255. Lennar, finally some weakness in this sector. It's been mind-boggling. And so I wouldn't buy the dip. Now the dip, these lower highs, is coming against to build the floor. What happens if they lose the floor? And I don't know where the floor is because it has 3 peaks. So there's a realistic enough chance that it will be below 159. So be careful going long. And there's also a chance of a bounce back to 180. And I would exit at 180. I think this time is different. I think these highs will stand for a long time. I've been wrong, like this one right here. Look left, July 2024, boom. I thought it was the end, but then they made a higher high. So don't bet against it. Just be prepared to scalp profits in both directions. Centrus Energy. If I'm not sure is this a nuclear energy or not. It looks like it is. There's no income now. So if it rallied on something, it's something other than what they're doing right now. hard to read. Support down to the 53 mark. Better support below 51 or 50. And rallies into 88 should be met by sellers. Lows, my favorite, I favor Home Depot over Lowe's. Technically, 274 is resistance and an exit, 278 resistance and an exit. I don't think they have enough oomph to take out 279. If they do, they may even get to the high. Versus trying to find footing along the way to 258. If you lose 257, oh, earnings are coming. Perfect. Perfect. We'll see what happens. So maybe you want to trade Home Depot while it reports, unless Home Depot also reports. Lam Research, great company. I would buy the dip, but not here. Solid support unless market's correct. You see these words? I did not put them there. Solid support. It held. Look, boing, 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 boing. And then the market corrected 1 day, 2 days, right into that. So you do have backup support, but the problem is the rally was too fast and you don't establish good footing. So now it's at the mercy of momentum. Rallies into 75 will be met by sellers and it's shortable. So if I get long here and I make money into 74, 75, I'm out. I'm trading. I'm not investing at these levels. I'm trading. You can sell puts to own shares. So I will add it if it's not there. It is. LULU, no touch. We bought the dip. This is too high for me. We bought the dip. This is too high. Wide resistance zone. Yeah, it's not for me. Good company. I don't want to short it. You missed the easy entry. They're buying dips. You can say, okay, maybe they get to 340 next week. If you got long for that statement, you didn't do wrong. You just need to make a stop. 309 looks like a good pivot zone. We'll put a line there. McDonald's. Okay. Vulnerable. It gave us the arrow. And we made money on it. We went red, but then the bad burrito headline came out. Well, I say it proverbially. It had the food scare. And it fell into the vulnerable zone. Right here, I've got nothing to do with it. 305 or higher should be impossible to recover or difficult to recover. If by some weird chance you take out 318, you go up to wherever they wanted to go. I don't understand it. I mean, the P&L is fantastic, but what are you chasing? Right? I mean, what are you chasing? It's not growing fast. So what's the upside? When people buy it to high heaven, what is the upside? I don't get it. So there's an easy chance on a weekly basis, if the market hits the skids, for this guy to be in the 280s and 270s. So it is not for me up here, although it's not a bad company to hold. Mongo, I would buy the dip, and they hit target 1. Target 2 is a little bit lower. Target 3 is a zone around 220. Medtronic, is that it? Yeah, Medtronics. I don't know the business, to be honest. 89 looks difficult to beat. 89, 89.90. So if I get they're selling rallies, I should respect it. And this is a pretty weird cluster of resistance. So I'm going to say this is going to be a fortress. You're probably not going to be able to beat that. And so manage accordingly. This looks pretty good too. Flash low. They've done that before around here. All right, so now we can build a box that is support. So if somebody's selling puts to own shares, you can trade these 2 boxes. Wait, earnings are coming. 2 days. Okay. Maybe in 2 days it'll be in one of those boxes. Which one? I don't know. Flip a coin. Come to me. We'll look at the options. Maybe they have clues. All right. So who is this? Meta. Uh-oh. Okay. Great P&L. I think it's a scam, but it's a great P&L. It looks like it lost its favor on Wall Street, and they better recover 565. If they don't recover 560, 565, they're in danger of it having be a neckline, and that will target 515, 515. So they could revisit 515. You do have some support at 545, but I wouldn't call it support. Better support is 520 or lower. If you're looking to sell a put spread, I would want to hide down there. I don't know if it'll be infected by movements from NVIDIA or not, to a degree probably. Monolithic Power. A bunch of people love this company, and I don't blame them. You look at the P&L, and it looks pretty fantastic, yet it can't stop falling. That's because it's a large stock. So it is a long, like this zone is supportive. The only problem is it extends through 440 to 450 to 480. So even if you say 500, so this can rally, and it should rally from what base? So the only way I would condone going long is selling a credit put spread. I don't know much about it. It's a massive stock. I don't want to get people in it not knowing much about it. If you trust its fundamentals and you trade the stock often, a credit put spread would be the best way, the easiest, risk-free way to do it. You can marry it with a debit call spread of sorts or a call diagonal or something, maybe. Merck, nope, no touchy. Why no touch? I don't know. The boss of all of these companies is coming in with a negative bias against everything they produce. Listen to him. Go listen to his talking points about vaccines, food safety, and all of that, and see which industries are going to be under scrutiny. This is probably one of them. Do your homework. Technically is the reason why I say no touch. Once you lost 100, if they don't get back up into the 105 zone, I think the stock can be at 85 or 82. It can be. I wouldn't short it, but I wouldn't want to add here. Patience. Microsoft. So I don't want to scare people with my targets on it. Out of all of the mega caps, this is the one that I would go long, even right here. If you said you have to buy shares in one of the companies, I wouldn't buy NVIDIA, I wouldn't buy Alphabet, I wouldn't buy Apple. This would be the one. It is the most consistent TerraCap ever. They've been doing what they're doing for decades at a level of success with a great P&L without any super shot in the arm. So buy now? No, I'm not buying anything now. The markets need to correct hard. So no, I'm not investing in anything. But with this one, I would sell puts to buy. I think, and this is just an opinion, if the markets hit the skids for just a couple of weeks, this one technically could lose 406. If you lose 406, you're going to retest that last dip to 390. And if you lose 390, that's a giant if. The first if is big, losing 406 from a couple weeks ago. The second if is giant, like less likely. But if you do, this one will give you an entry below 350. I wouldn't hold my breath for it, but it is doable, just like it is doable to make an all-time high. It's been lagging. It's been acting properly. This is what the market should have done, like what it did, as opposed to what the market did, act like a GME. So higher lows, lower highs, it's coiling. This one will follow NVIDIA. So we'll see what happens next week when NVIDIA reports. You could convince me to sell a put in advance, out in time, or if it does dip, I would be there to catch the falling knife. I don't know what that means. Anyway, so good stock, support below, resistance above. There's nothing to do right here with confidence. MSTR, I shorted it on a whim to make a point that now everybody loves Bitcoin and everybody loves Bitcoin stocks. This is a great company as far as Bitcoin is concerned, extremely expensive if you value the Bitcoin that it holds. If this is a balance sheet story, meaning them accumulating Bitcoin is the goodness of the stock going forward, I get it. But the values of the coins inside, the way that you calculate them, they're expensive. It's cheaper to buy just coins outright. So I sold a call spread with somebody, only one contract, just to make a point. Let's see if I make money. I forgot what level I sold it at. It's like up here. I can't remember, January, December, something like that. Just for giggles. And I collected, I think I shared it with the group. I said I collected $100. In fact, it paid $125 like this to some other people that sold the same one I did. So I shorted myself, cut myself short on the potential profits. But it's a headache for sure. It's not red yet, in spite of all of this exuberance. What am I saying? If you want to invest in MSTR, this is not an obvious entry point. It's a nope, not an obvious point of entry. Who is this? Micron. This one will move with NVIDIA. Technically, it lost 100, and if it did, then it needs to go to 88, 89. This is where the other set of support is. Now, I hated it up there. I don't mind it down here, but I'm not going long into NVIDIA. And if you force me to go long, I would sell a put or a put spread to go long in, and only half size. Because if it does get hit and it does go to 84, I want to be able to have the opportunity to double. If it takes out 114, it has a lot of upside to recover, and I would short it again. I shorted it up here because it does not deserve to be up there. Okay? Earnings in 31 days, and that set of earnings that is coming from them, extremely important to solidify the uptrend, the recovery. This looks insanely good, right? Yeah, it isn't, because they're trying to, they lost half their sales and they're trying to recover it. That's why it looks good. It's looking better, but not good. I don't know this company. Okay. Support below into 47, resistance above. You take out that prior fail, 53, 54, you might be able to hit that. Otherwise, buy the dip into the support zone of 46 or lower. NextEra Energy. Okay. Solid. Solid. I know we've covered NextEra before. I don't remember saying anything. That is an ugly chart. I wouldn't touch this chart. If you're an investor in NextEra, do your homework on the fundamentals. The chart's not going to help you. Look at it. That's just ugly as hell. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So I don't have an advantage, and what I tell you will not be help, except that it's in this almost, whatever, it's $16. Do your homework and see what's the valuation like. What's the price to sales maybe. I don't think they have a PE, but anyway, do your fundamental homework on it. And if I'm long, I'm not adding here. Netflix, maybe you want to short it after this disaster of the weekend, or short whoever was running the show. I was able to watch the ridiculous dance of Tyson. That's a fixed fight, by the way. I know a fixed fight when I see one. These two were using a script. Tyson could have knocked him out, and the other one could have knocked him out too, and they both held back punches. It was choreographed. So the debacle is that most of the country couldn't log. A lot of people everywhere in the U.S. could not log in. Like, I was here, and I have people in Texas, and they couldn't even log in to Netflix, period, let alone Netflix and watching the fight. My TV would buffer. I would watch it on my phone, would be fine, and then they were both working, and they're not synced. So one of them was lagging. It was a schmuck show. Anyway, I don't know if that's going to affect the stock on Monday. Either it or the word comes out it was an AWS failure in the background, or one of the suppliers for the throughput or something. Because anyway, there should be a backlash. First of all, the event was stupid, choreographed. The judging was terrible, absolutely terrible. The two good fights, bad judging. The first fight was a joke. The last fight was a joke. The two fights in the middle were good, terrible judging. Complete badness on the judging. I don't know. I'm just speculating on the AWS thing. I don't know. Why would Microsoft fall? AWS is not Microsoft. Yeah, she was. Okay, Nike. Good company, cheap. Don't know why. They tell me it's because of competition. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see if the sales continue to suffer. I bet you they'll come back, make a comeback. Anyway, rallies into 81, 82 should be resistance, and support below down to 70. I'm not sure how much that could help you. I mean, you could invest. I would take only half the position, nothing more, nothing less. ServiceNow, too high for me. They are buying dips. This is an area where we would start buying dips into 980. If I wanted to short it, I'll short it closer to 1060. If I wanted to go long now, I wouldn't. But if you force me to, I would sell a put spread. I wouldn't buy calls or a call spread. Great trend. Good P&L and everything, so I have nothing against it. It's just a matter of how you want to build a position. Maybe 50% of it now. So NU, I forgot what I said about it. Anyway, it fell on earnings, I know that much. And then it fell again. It is catchable if you do homework on it. The P&L looks good, and I would need your help in order to figure out why, in theory, this stock is falling. The stock doesn't look that bad in this zone because you have support that spreads across down to 1280 and then back up. In other words, this blue box is support zone. Look how wide it is. So if you sold puts on this dip, you're not that crazy. I just don't know what they do. I'll have to do homework. NVIDIA. Okay, so I drew this for the gang a while back. I forgot when, a couple weeks ago. Look what it did. It just came down to that green arrow. What am I saying? I'm saying that it was a rising wedge, and this is just a normal dip to the rising wedge, the zone. So anything below 138 should be support. Anything below 132 should be much better support. 126, you remember that number? That's the pivot that I think it might revisit if it has a negative reaction to the earnings. Now, I am 1,000% confident, listen to these words, that they will deliver a good report. That is nothing to do with how they're going to react. Okay? I am also 1,000% confident that the market will use NVIDIA to save the market if they need it, if they need savings. Every time the market is stuttering, NVIDIA reports, we go to another leg higher. If the bears want to really hold the market down, they need to make sure this sucker doesn't bounce on the earnings. Fundamentally, it's great. It could be 180, it could be 120. I could argue for both. I wouldn't own shares unless it's a core holding for the long term that I got into properly. I wouldn't add to my position going into earnings. If I wanted to leverage, I would sell puts to own shares at a high implied volatility. There's plenty to do, but it's a coin flip any which way you slice it. OKTA buy the dip moment is doable, and you have to make sure you don't lose the support from back then. So if you get to 70, you probably get to 65. Okay, so you could sell a put or a put spread, but leave room for error. With that, we end video 2.